Welcome to Countdown to Infinity, a Marvel's Avengers podcast. We talk all things Marvel Cinematic Universe, including the movies, all 4,000 of them.
Yes.
And then also the TV shows on Disney Plus, all the streaming shows.
Also adding up to about 4,000.
So, yeah, if we're talking episodes in time, there's quite a few already there, and it's been just a little over 2 years.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of our She-Hulk watch recap.
Yes.
Whoa, I messed up again. I didn't want to say watch along because we're not watching them like live with people, and we're not commentating on that.
Well, we are watching them live with people.
We are.
With one another.
Yes. Me and you.
The quality time. This is our quality time
Yes.
as Marvel. Surrounded.
We're doing episode by episode. We're on episode 6, Just Jen.
Just Jen.
My name's Emmanuel, and we're really excited because we have back on the pod
Who?
someone else.
Oh.
Get off.
Bye.
I'm just kidding.
It's me.
Sofia.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi,
Welcome
I'm
back.
Sofia.
It's been a while.
It's been a while since I've been podcasting. Yes.
Brent has been a trooper and stepping in to do some records, but now Sophia's back.
Brent's the best, though. Thank you,
Brent's
Brent.
the best. Brent is the best.
Brent is the best.
Sophia, what do you have to say to your fans who have been writing letters every single day that you haven't been on the pod?
Thank you so much for all of your love and support during this difficult time. But I will say I am happy to be back.
Yes. And it's not to say you haven't been watching She-Hulk. You've been watching them anyways.
Yeah, 100%. I've been here. I've been watching.
Just not podding about it.
Just not talking about it. No.
The pressure was off.
It was.
But now the pressure,
Back on, baby.
Back
I
on,
feel it. I feel it so much.
baby.
But
And
it's
this is a very special episode. This is the episode where Jennifer Walters is
Just Jen.
Just Jen. Well, is she? But she is Jen for quite a bit. But even she kind of self-aware and meta tells us, breaking the fourth wall to tell us the self-contained wedding episode. Because most of this episode, at least when it comes to She-Hulk, is centered around her high school friend Lulu's wedding.
Yes.
And then we've got a separate story with Mr. Immortal with Nikki and Mallory.
It's funny.
But that's, this is a really fun ep, and there's something that kind of leads you to think there's a much bigger plot against She-Hulk. In fact,
that includes the whole series.
yes.
Not just Jen.
We finally get to see a little bit of that. But Sophia, what'd you think about this ep?
I was so stoked. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was more stoked about seeing the bigger picture because I think the last time I was on the pod, we were kind of talking about where all of these quote unquote villains were gonna go, because Titania has obviously been a presence in the whole series so far.
At least talked about, not so much seen all the time.
No. But she's been we know about her since day one, right? So I think we were talking about that briefly. What is going to happen with her? Can it be? And then the lawsuit that we saw.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. Then they just have this beef the whole time. But we didn't know if that was going to be the center of the show, and now we know. I mean, it very well could be. I'm not saying Titania has nothing to do with what was featured in this episode towards the end, the bigger picture of
the online community of toxic
trolls that are going after but deeper than trolls even, because it's definitely targeted towards She-Hulk. But so that I'm really excited for. I was waiting for it. Also, her love life and the whole comedic aspect of the show, that's super cute. And
she does meet Josh at the wedding.
Girl.
He's kind of the opposite of that I forgot what his job was. The doctor from the first step who only likes She-Hulk. Josh kind of likes Jen.
But he doesn't mind She-Hulk either, though, because he was I think you're all right either way. It's fine. And that girl, that Joshua though, I'm 100% on board.
Funny guy. He brings her fries when she's drunk.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me so much of you.
Yes, of course. Unless he turns out to be an evil guy.
Right. See, that's another thing that I was kind of leaning on. I know we're kind of jumping into it already, but I
straight to the end. Yeah.
I don't know. Of course, I want to love the idea of her being with a fantastic man like that.
And they haven't answered that directly, but she is being surveilled.
Oh, 100%.
They're watching her, so I don't know if he's in on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he's and he was really broad with his story of oh, I'm just here with the groom. No major details. And she got drunk very quickly.
Yeah.
And then he made another appearance then. So I was where'd you go, friend? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the whole thing. But I did also love the the lawsuit. Like that was so funny. I can only imagine.
Ooh, the Mr. Immortal
yeah.
story. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't clear about that. Yeah, the Mr. Immortal's part, like that lawsuit. That
There's
was
got to be
hilarious.
some law happening, right? Each of these episodes, there's got to be a case every ep. So yeah.
I love that. That was really funny.
Yeah, Mr. Immortal is a really funny character who does exist in the comic books, but instead of using, and it's kind of hilarious, instead of using his power really to do anything good, he just uses it to escape relationships by faking his death and kind of dying IRL, but coming back. And he's been doing it for a millennia, it seems.
Just as I thought. Trash.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think I really...
Men.
I like
I'm just
the
kidding.
support group that...
What?
No, that...
I'm sorry. The online support group? That's what you're talking about?
No.
That's
what are you talking about?
That's interesting. That's interesting. No,
Yeah,
just
no,
kidding.
I like the support group that Jen has, especially back at her law firm with Nikki, who's just her best friend, I think, like even outside of work.
Oh, yeah,
and then
for
Mallory,
sure.
who's sort of an idol to her and is kind of softening and becoming a closer member of the team. We learn more about her. We know she's been married for a long time in this
Yes.
ep, which I think is really cool. I hope she's not evil, first of all. I don't know. I'm so suspicious in the MCU. You know, I'm always like, oh,
anything
no.
can be anything.
Yeah, but I do enjoy the fact that Mallory does let Nikki kind of take lead on the Mr. Immortal case. She has like this great resolution, including really long eye contact with one of the wives, and of course cash and stuff like that. But I like that. At least for so far, we think Jen has some people looking out for her.
Yeah, Nikki 100%, just because she's just a positive.
We trust her, right? She's safe.
She's 100% a positive presence because she was there for her before she was She-Hulk. So, like, we got a little taste of that in the first episode,
a nice
too.
outfits.
Yes. Yeah. And you can tell that she just really... I mean, I feel like Nikki is the type of character that's just a hype character for anybody, but specifically for Jen because it is her best friend. But it's not saying that she wouldn't do the same for any other person that she cares about. She's just a friend that is going to, 1, hype you up, 2, be there for you 100%, and 3, do whatever she can to help protect you.
I got to say, that's what I really love about the shows in general is the supporting cast and really the friends of the main heroes, like in Miss Marvel and, somewhat in WandaVision until we find out it's Agatha. But like all of the supporting cast is great, but just as their characters, as a friend group, it's nice to see that in the MCU, which normally doesn't have so much of that in the movies because it's mostly like, your friend is just another giant superhero.
But that's easier to portray in a series than it is in a short amount of time of a movie.
And they're super fun. And I got to say this too about, Nikki is a comedian is played by comedian Ginger Gonzaga, but so is Lulu, who is her friend. You might have recognized. We just watched. We were just talking about The Lost City.
Yeah.
That she's in. Patty Harrison. She's really funny.
She's so funny.
This is a comedy, and
I was surprised to see her
as it's being pitched, and we're kind of seeing that it is kind of a courtroom comedy, and there are a lot of comedians in this show, which I think I appreciate because even with just her facial expressions, Patty Harrison as the best friend is so funny because she doesn't want the limelight stolen. She's drunk at the end, but her I guess her disgust face is so good. And I feel like I've seen it in so many good TV and film.
I feel like her character is like a less partied version, or maybe just like an older version of like the Madison character that we got that would party really hard with Wong. But yeah, she seems like more of like the attention, like mothered
seeking
little person in the
a little bit of that Bridesmaids type show.
Yeah,
I also feel like this was good because she's from Jennifer's past, and we kind of see how the whole series is kind of shaping up to be a decision for Jen on whether or not she wants to be She-Hulk. All the time. Like we talked about this before, but in the comic books, she makes the decision that she's just going to be She-Hulk forever, and not be Jen.
Right.
Which is kind of a sad, it's a
really
sad
don't...
resolution. But I think it's nice to have Lulu, and I think maybe this is the reason why this is her wedding episode. Is she insists that Jen doesn't turn into She-Hulk, and and her other friends treat her really badly.
Yeah,
they would not treat She-Hulk like this.
No,
but I think that's kind of either strengthening that decision that she's going to end up making, or making it a little more complicated. Because once she turns into She-Hulk, of course everyone respects her, but if she's not, like they really treat her badly.
I really don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't really remember. It's been like years since I've potted, so I don't really remember what we
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
before. But
Yeah.
I really don't want that to be the message to anybody watching this series that's like from a younger generation, because then that's just them
Yeah.
being like, oh well.
Brent and I called it the Grease ending, which is change
Yeah.
who you are
Oh,
and everything
for
will
sure.
be fine.
Yeah, that's so accurate. Yeah, because like that's why. Why do we need that again? Like leave that in the past. You know.
Yeah.
Especially with a friend like Nikki. Mm-hmm. You know, like she can
I-
totally bring out the other side of Jen and
Yeah.
like show her that that's not necessary at all.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna I think see something hopefully more nuanced, because the comic books are great, but they also were from a different time.
Yes.
So that decision
Plus-
was very different.
Plus, after the She-Hulk Titania trial, when they went to go get drinks at the end of it,
Yeah.
she told her like, you can do way better than that muscular like hot doctor
Like
guy.
you'd be like Josh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I mean, let's talk a little bit more about that Titanium. This was their big fight. You know, I don't know if this
Another
is,
one.
yeah, and you know, you really don't even know with Titania if this is it for her. I mean, she does get beat up by She-Hulk, but ultimately she doesn't really even get defeated in a traditional
Again.
sense. She just trips on ice and then breaks her veneers and then gets really embarrassed and leaves while stealing a cake.
Right.
So I'm not. Do you feel like you're going to see Titania again, or do you think this is actually it?
No, I don't think this is it. I think she's just again more pissed off than what she was before.
We're building toward, yeah.
And she has all the resources, like Lulu said whenever they were talking about her, like she has 5,000 other jobs that or like companies that she's running. So it's not that has a lack of resources, and she's just picking the wrong times and trying to do it by herself to take on She-Hulk is what I mean. And so I think Titania is totally capable of contacting the people that she needs to, or seeing if somebody knows somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like revenge yet.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I think that if these public fights and this public embarrassment continues, then Titania is then gonna if she loses her followers or whatever, because she's obviously a character that cares about that so much. I think that she's gonna get even more pissed off and embarrassed, and then that's when things are really gonna hit the fan. So.
Yeah, and I'm really interested too in how because I feel like the show is a lot about discourse online and maybe about these super toxic communities that are built up only on the web.
Yeah.
And Titania plays a part of that. I mean, we'll talk about intelligentsia and all that stuff towards the end, but Titania is mostly, her persona is crafted from her online
presence
image. And and that's why she is trademarking She-Hulk and doing pop-up shops. Classic influencer, just like me. But I mean, like, her character seems like someone who could galvanize an online community to do something
That's what
bad.
I'm saying.
Yeah, or good. Who knows? But with her, but
probably bad.
But
Towards She-Hulk.
Yeah, probably bad. And we'll have to see what repercussions from those people filming her get beat up. I don't know, where that ends up. I mean, like, and how it can be blown out of proportions. Like, online, this could be a headline of She-Hulk fighting Titania. Even though we saw it, it's not really. It was like a 5-second thing. But yeah, it could live online forever.
And
as
honestly,
just a out of context clip.
And honestly, the veneers thing, like, that was just because she slipped on an ice cube. It's not even because She-Hulk like punched her severely and then that messed up her teeth.
Yeah.
But
she also sucker punched She-Hulk while she was throwing up.
Yeah.
So that's as Jen too. Like, it's
that's a dick move. That's a dick move, Titania.
Yeah. Never sucker punch someone throwing up at a wedding.
Exactly.
Okay. Sorry.
No.
I just got to draw the line there.
Also, I think that because Jen was being surveillance, just having fries with Josh, that doesn't mean that whoever was running surveillance on that moment did not see the fight between her and Titania. Like,
and remember, they are looking for DNA. She's touching fries. I don't know. Like, there's all kinds of stuff, I think, that we'll have to keep an eye on. But that actually leads us to intelligentsia.
Yes.
So one of the reasons why, and this is kind of connects the A and B story in a way, but the reason why Mr.Immortal was found out, I guess, by his past wives was an article that one of them read on intelligentsia, which sort of looks like a Reddit type, message board. where you have like slash something. I actually think there's an r/Delphin Pod that exists or something like that. Yeah, but it's an online community, and
nice plug.
As Mallory, I don't think there's anything there.
Oh.
It's banned now. But Mallory and Nikki dive in and see that She-Hulk is
targeted.
Like there are some incredibly offensive, and I mean it's also PG-13 offensive. Like the stuff we saw are like cancel She-Hulk. Oh, she sucks.
But then there's also
there's all like
how do we kill her?
It's the internet. Yeah, like there's way worse stuff on there
for sure.
And then of course like we met that billionaire that she dated, a couple episodes ago, and he was really interested in her,
super obsessed.
So we can assume he's part of the community. Maybe. What do you think about what is shaping up to be kind of the overarching like villain in a way, which might not even be a single person, but a movement online?
I think it's really smart of Marvel to do this because of how scarily real this can very much be.
Even just about She-Hulk, this is real.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of crazy that this is like where we are now as a society. Like instead of just being super underground, people are very obvious about these types of things. I think the only thing that's underground is like where they would come from if it was like some sort of like actual person who's dangerous.
Yeah, it's that anonymous veil of the internet. Yeah.
So I think that's totally relevant right now, and I think that's really a smart play for them. Again, because we think about how old like She-Hulk actually is as a character, so I'm sure it played out totally differently in the comic books. They didn't have all this crazy stuff on the internet, but and also I think that if they were to keep any profiles, because I feel like they're going to go back to the site and see who's exactly posting what, which would be smart, and like maybe we're going to dive into a specific profile or somebody who's like,
well, Hulk King.
Yes, that's one.
Is the one that seems to be in charge.
Yes. So
at least it has a lab.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if we're going to follow this specific person, then we're going to end up at the very end either having this huge fight between this person and She-Hulk, or they're going to be able to get her DNA and try to take her out, which is like even crazier for a series to do, or what. Like there are so many possibilities because it's anonymous. Does that make sense? Like it's able, the series is now able to go like literally wherever.
Yeah.
Which I love.
And I don't know if this is a clue, but they specifically showed in the previously on Bruce Banner's lab. I think it's in Mexico, right? Like
it is in Mexico.
And the lab that we see towards the end of this looks very similar.
Yes.
And they're actually monitoring her like vitals.
Yeah.
So that I think is a big red flag of the amount of technology, at least that they have. But yeah, I think this whole pivot is not pivot even, but this unveiling of the online community that's after Jen, I think is really brilliant because it's a great way to comment on, of course, the existing toxic fandom. I don't even want to call them a fandom. This kind of toxic ownership over some things, and it's not just a Marvel thing; it's across the board.
100%, yeah.
But I mean, I think it's a brilliant way to comment on it. We kind of saw some of this when there was a montage of people who were hating on She-Hulk that they played in an earlier episode, and then they revealed those were real comments from the show when it was announced.
Yeah.
I thought that was really brilliant. And I mean, like, it's just all about the stuff that triggers people to do these kinds of things. And meanwhile, cut to Jen just living her life. And it's not...
Yeah, and then she has this whole problem with Titania and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, she got her hands full.
And she didn't really, like, instigate any of this.
She's trying to date and have a career.
And Titania, I think, pointedly tells her, like, you don't even deserve that. You don't want to be a hero.
Yeah.
And it's very true. Even, I mean, she doesn't want to be a hero. She just got it because of a car accident and a transfusion.
A literal accident.
With her cousin, yeah. So it's interesting. And it could serve as, like, a metaphor for fame, maybe even. Like, people who are like, why are you famous? You've done nothing or whatever. So I'm interested to see how far it goes. And then I'm also interested in why, and I'm sure some people thought we'd talk about this in the first 5 minutes, but I'm interested to know where Daredevil fits into any of this.
I know. Like, there was a little teaser, and then it's
see
like,
the
okay,
mask?
cool. And then, like, nothing.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that. Thank you.
Yeah, it lingers on it,
It
like,
really
on
does.
the box.
Yeah.
It's not...
If we're not going to get Daredevil until, like, the last episode, Marvel? I'm gonna be pissed.
He's getting his own
I'm
long
gonna be so upset.
show. But yeah, I mean, it's, this episode and the last one didn't have an after credit sequence because they had
No.
such a stinger at the end. It's here's Daredevil's mask. Here's a group of people hunting She-Hulk. So they don't want to like add anything. It's not Meg the Stallion, twerking or anything.
I'm not saying that they're being selfish, but they're kind of being selfish.
But yeah, I mean, you assume that was like a direct reference to what's going to happen next, but it's not. I want to go back to the lab. I mean, we also realized that Bruce Banner's off planet. He's on his way to Zakar or something,
Yes,
right?
yeah, he
so
dipped.
that lab could totally be empty. And Jen even calls him and says like, what are you doing? Where
Yeah,
are you? Because I haven't talked to you
Yeah.
in like months or weeks or whatever. So I think that lab is totally open for whoever wants to get in there and do all the things.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people know about it?
Yeah, supposedly not many
That's
or
what
zero.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like if they don't know, like this could be a lab run by somebody who actually is intelligent and who has the capabilities.
And to be honest, in the MCU, there's 100 labs like this everywhere.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like any person that has either money, intelligence, or organization behind them is going to have this type of structure. That's in secret. Because I mean, it could very well be like run by that billionaire person because he's a billionaire, and he also is obsessed with all of the Avengers because he was asking all kinds of questions about Hulk and about whoever else on their date. Like he got the money.
Yeah.
And also he was in her work. Like he went to
Yeah.
go to her job. Like,
one of Mallory's clients.
yes. So he is clearly obsessed with her and the idea of supers, and it's that could be a
Creepy.
possibility.
Yeah, he's got resources. So yeah, who knows?
And that's not
how
to say
far.
that he can't very well reach out to Titania and be like, "Hey, you want to link up? Like
Yeah.
we're both kind of
with
on
the
the same
internet.
page."
Let's use internet. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be. It could get really crazy pretty soon, and Jen may have to just like actually do a superhero. Become a superhero.
We're on episode 6 already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually 5 and 6 are like the episodes where things kind
Yeah.
of go south, but here we are. Like
Yeah,
the only
we've
thing we got
3
was
left.
the lab.
Yeah, we've got 3 left, and yeah, there's a lot already happening. I want to before we talk about what we're looking forward to in the next ep. I want to go back and Mr.Immortal is played by by David Pasquesi. Or Pasquesi, but anyway, he's from Veep. People know him from Veep. He's really funny.
Yes, he's in Star Wars
Boba
too.
Fett,
He's
yeah.
in Boba Fett.
So
And
yeah.
now he's in Marvel. Like, who is his agent?
He's doing the thing.
Good for him.
Yeah. And I'm feeling the same too with Mallory. She's from. Let me get Renee Elise Goldsberry,
Yes.
who plays Angelica, Tony Award winning, and she's in.
Angelica.
She's in like indies like Waves, and then she's in Girls Five Eva. I think she's doing
Oh my
really
gosh,
well too.
yes, yeah.
Well, what are you looking forward to in the next couple episodes? What part of the story are you looking forward to the most?
I want to see Daredevil.
Yeah, like everyone else. I
Like
think,
everybody
yeah.
else. Also, I do love the idea of her finding love, and I
Yeah.
do also want to see whose lab it is. Who's that lab?
Yeah.
Whose lab?
Whose lab is
Whose
this?
lab? And
It's like you at the dog park when a retriever runs up to you. You're like, whose lab is
Whose
this?
lab? And I would love to also see her come to terms with herself.
Yeah.
Just self-growth. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and Nikki does tell her about, they agree. Let's not tell Jen.
Yeah.
And Nikki, of course, like a best
Immediately.
friend on the ride over says like, oh my God, you got to check this stuff
She's
out.
like, girl, the cheese man, the
Yeah,
gossip. Let
yeah.
me tell you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to how I guess Jen deals with all these forces that are kind of
Working against her.
working against her without even her knowledge. That's really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's really scary to not even have a defined. And I don't even know how you defend yourself against the internet, So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's going to be really interesting to see. I wonder how much of Bruce Banner we will see at all. Like, I feel like we shouldn't because this is Jen's thing now. But, I mean, with the lab and all that stuff, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that because she is reaching out to him. But, yeah, I mean, I'm also interested to see what case is next. Like, we've got some pretty interesting superhero law cases happening. Mr. Immortal in this one, but we got an Asgardian shapeshifter in another, and then of course all the stuff with Wong and Abomination. Like that part, I think has been really fun.
Yeah, I do appreciate all the cameos from the comics.
So I'm hoping that we get at least 2 or 3 more of those, and of course Daredevil is going to be a part of that soon. But yeah, that'll be really. I think it'll be fun. And it's kind of shaping up like she's going to be the lawyer for the Avengers or something.
Yeah, she's going to work closely with them at least.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be really fun to see too.
I agree.
But yeah, let us know what you're looking forward to. I'm sure we'll see it. We've only got a couple episodes left.
Yeah.
Sophia, we've come back to the pod, and we've come to the end of the pod. Wait,
wow.
You've come back to
We're
the
here?
pod? Yeah.
You know what? I have not been here in a while, so it feels good to end one.
What do you have to plug?
Just the same old things. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening and for being so faithful to us. You have no idea. Your trust and your audience just works. Goes a long way. I'm going to tell you that right now. And if you want to support us even further, you can check out our other shows that we have available at Delphin Pod. It's going to be on our Patreon. So it's patreon.com/Delphin. I have not done this in so long. Patreon.com/DelphinPod, DelphinPod. Thank you so much to Brent again for stepping up like always. He's the best. And if you want to follow any of my socials, you sure can. Everything's going to be at _simply Sophie, SOFIEE. That's me.
Let us know what you think about the She-Hulk so far, and definitely go to Patreon. Listen to all the Delphin Pod shows. Revenge of the Sequel is back.
It's back, baby.
Next week, not now, but for October, and then we talk all kinds of movies and TVs across the network. Thanks so much for listening to this.
Thank you.
You'll hear us next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.